Thank you very much. The next one is the financial performance report. Good afternoon. Welcome. Good morning. We haven't got to afternoon. Good morning.
Not quite. Yes, good morning. For those who haven't met me, I'm Russell Holden. I'm the new head of finance. Just been here a short number of weeks. So thanks very much. It's good to be here. So this is the financial report for June. So this report's a bit bigger than perhaps would normally come to the committee. So it's covering off where we ended up at the end of the year, and it's also got the carry forwards, as it's already been highlighted by Peter coming through. So where did we end up at the year? We had a surplus after carry forwards of $22.1 million. So driving those carry forwards, and I understand it's been a similar message throughout the year, higher regulatory and compliance revenues, higher subvention payments received, so that's contributions coming through. Interest revenues are high. Rates revenues were a bit higher too, built on a higher rating base than we had anticipated. But expenditure was up by just under $3 million. So as well as having a higher regulatory and compliance revenues, the flip side of that, there was some more costs sitting in that space. And lower personnel costs of about $4 million. So summarising it all, like I said, there's after carry forwards, there's a surplus of $22.1 million. So taking that surplus, the paper was recommending a number of options. So there was to align with the annual plan, so it had already been put in the 22-23 annual plan, taking $11.35 million of the surplus to replace planned COVID borrowing. That didn't occur. Wastewater treatment community support, just under $1.2 million. Enable housing, $0.85 million, and COVID business recovery program of $220,000. I think it's a good time to sort of stop and reflect. Like, this is a really good result for the council, and when you go back a number of years prior to me, 2020, I guess in the height of COVID, when council was envisaging the need to borrow about $102 million to cope with the impact and having ratepayers fund its repayments over 5 years. So that was quite a big ask. So now we come forward 2 years, and not only has council repaid the $30 million deficit from 2020, it has avoided further COVID-related borrowing due to outstanding financial results over the last 2 years. And so, and that's despite, revenue lines coming back. So, that's a really strong result. And so, part of this report also says that there's going to be, about $8.5 million left over that hasn't been allocated either through the annual plan or those items that I've just touched on there, to apply that to debt, which will further benefit ratepayers by about 0.07%. So in addition to that, the report also covers carry forwards, both operational and capital, and pretty much that's sitting in alignment with what was planned for the annual plan, slightly probably a bit better than was forecast in May. So overall, a good result. The report covers, as you know, risk matters and rates debt. So the graph on look, I guess, in section 16, so far as the rates debt goes, that it's just sitting fairly consistently over the years going back to 2015. So even probably slightly down. So again, another good position. So look, I'm happy to present the report and take any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Jimmy Chen.
But the page, the 292 to the 303, all those capital program carry forward. I just want to know, you consider, because this is a budget payment schedule, am I right? But actually the true cost, is due to the like supply chain impact and COVID impact or construction delay, etc., or not for this?
I'm not 100%, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure of the total reasons for the reasons
Yes.
and the delay. Part of it is exactly as you've outlined, being able to have the supply chain of things, but also the capacity of people to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
reason
But,
for the-
but maybe individual one is a different reason, am I right? Each one, because you have so many capital program, you know.
Yes,
This kind of the carry forward, you know,
Yes.
from this year to next year, following year. Just want to know what's the reason there.
coming in to Christchurch from not having been here and just seeing the work that's being done, like capacity across the board, across the organisations, including council, is being tested. So we're still seeing that in spaces. So there'll be a multitude of reasons why we haven't delivered. But I think they've been flagged throughout the year. And so, like I say, for the operational and for the capital, that's being flagged for next year's annual plan. So it's sitting in alignment with council's expectations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Yanni?
Thanks. Just, I was interested in the development contributions on page 2. I was interested in the development contributions on page 286. So basically, of the budget that we'd allocated of 7.4 million, we've still got 6.5 remaining, and you're carry forwarding 1.9 for the open schemes. But I'm just trying to understand if that is the 1.9 ring fence to a specific quantum, or is it just an estimate of the ones that are open and what they'll be eligible for?
The 1.9 is an estimate of the open schemes that still have capacity. There were a couple of housing ones. I haven't got the details of which schemes are still open and how much is still available.
But effectively, from the development contribution rates funded rebate that we were given to Central City Development, there's $4.6 million that's effectively being returned into the general coffers.
It was borrowing we would have incurred that we potentially won't incur because those schemes have been closed.
Yeah.
Yes, so there's no cash, if you like, available.
Right. But it's still money that we budgeted for to rate for, or to borrow for.
We budgeted to borrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And are we getting a paper about what we do with that money, or is this it, basically? Because I thought when we agreed to wind up the scheme, I thought there was some sort of agreement to look at the possible alternative uses.
I'm not familiar
That's
with,
we can
with the paper.
chase it up offline. The other thing I wanted to check, and it's a slightly unusual one, but it was quite interesting to see that there was a bequest from Narita Johnson for future exhibition of $60,000. And I just thought that seemed like a really nice thing that someone's done, but I just wondered if there was any sort of information that we knew about that, or if we could get some information on that.
We can certainly source some information for you and provide it to councillors.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice to acknowledge that, and to just find out a little bit more about it. Thank you. And the only other question I had was around the EV charging. And sorry, that's on page 290, I think. Sorry, it might be slightly just before. Sorry, 289. Yeah. So, I mean, again, just a little bit concerned that we're not progressing that, and obviously then now we're seeing maybe the cost of providing those charges increasing. Is there any way to work? Like, I was quite surprised to see this was only targeted sort of the private sector, because it wasn't clear from the resolution that that's what it was doing. Is there any way to work with our council facilities around accessing that funding so we can get it used and get get the charging in place?
It's a fairly good question. Look, we'll have to have a look at that and then come back and give
Okay.
you an answer. Yeah, sorry, I can't answer it
No, that's
on
cool.
the spot.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead and move that for the resolution. Andrew, seconded by Phil. Any discussion? Put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That's carried. And look, I want to apologise to you, Russell, because this is the first time that you've appeared in front of the committee, and I didn't acknowledge you, and that's because I don't think that I've actually met you yet. So normally we would meet each other, but this would normally be finance and performance, so I'm sure that you're already known to the Deputy Mayor. But look, welcome aboard. We all got a note about your background. Sounds really exciting and interesting. Been to Darwin
Yes.
many years ago. And of course, Tasman, our thoughts are with what's going on up there at the moment. So, and I'm sure you are feeling that way too. So, I want to acknowledge that and thank you for coming on board, and look forward to working with you for the next, maybe 6 weeks. And, and then somebody else will take up that role. But this is a report that goes to our Finance and Performance Committee, and I don't think that will change under the new regime. So it will be great to see you appearing in the future.
Cool. Hey, thanks very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank
Welcome
you.
aboard.
Ta.
Thank you.
Thank you.